طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل ما جعلته سهلا تجعل الحزن والصعب إذا ما شئت سهلا اللهم آمين. Alhamdulillah, we're now 1 week away from, we concluded, let's put it this way, 1 week of Ramadan. Last week we started fasting on Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept from us. That means we started on Wednesday. Yeah, so first night of Taraweeh. So Alhamdulillah, that means we're 1/4 of the month away, inshallah. So I wanted to remind the youth, what was the question that I asked yesterday? I asked a question yesterday, which is, what's the connection in Surah Al-An'am between the Tawheed and youth and the society? Any quick thoughts, from the youth, quickly? What's the connection? طيب, I'll make the connection quickly for the sake of time. Surah Al-An'am, as we said, is the surah that deals with Tawheed. And this is the surah also that introduces the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لَأَبِيهِ آزَرَ تعبد أصناما آلهة من دون الله إني أراك وقومك في ضلال مبين. Excuse me. So Ibrahim alayhi salam introduces to us the concept that I hope that many of the parents are aware of, and I want also the youth to be mindful about. The concept of having a Rabbani family is to introduce a Rabbani generation, and the Rabbani generation job is to take the leadership of the Ummah. If the Ummah is unable to produce Rabbani generation, then the Ummah will be failing, like what happened to the Ummah in the previous century. And now, alhamdulillah, the new generation is coming back to Allah Azza wa Jal. Ibrahim, with his conscience as a young man and as an adolescent, and adolescents normally have the ability to think abstractly and think outside the box, and they're more innovative. But unfortunately, in the Western societies, adolescents are seen as the troublemakers in the society. Their adolescence is seen as a turmoil, stage in the lifespan of a human being. And that's not how Allah Azza wa Jalla wants us to see adolescency. Allah Azza wa Jalla introduces to us the right concept of being an adolescent, fatan or fati, as it is introduced in Surah Al-Kahf. Now, when you look into Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was with his own people. His father, or the one who, or his uncle, as some Mufassirun indicated, that he was not his biological father, it was his uncle, was a person who used to make statues and sell them to people. Ibrahim alayhi salam was saying, think, where's your mind? You're making your God and worshipping that God. It doesn't make sense. So this is what I want the youth to be mindful about. You do have the ability to think abstractly, to think outside the box. Be innovative, not in attracting the attention to you, because that's what happened in Western societies. Youth wants to seek the attention. They want to be the center of attention, as they call it. In Islam, Allah Azza wa Jalla gives you the idea of why you are living. Ibrahim, in the debate he had, فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي فَلَمَّا أَفْلَتْ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. Allah Azza wa Jal wants the youth to be aware of their role as muwahhideen, as servants of the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. And this what would be the role of the youth in the society in which we're living in. Your job is not to eat and dress in a nice way, or your job is not to seek the attention through social media posts, or having a very expensive gadget that sometimes gets you into trouble to get from your family. Your job is to be a da'i to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, just like Ibrahim alayhi salam was a da'i to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. And we want you to connect the two together. Your role in this life is to worship Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty. And to worship Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty, you need to understand the concept of Tawheed to Allah Azza wa Jal, which is introduced to us in Surah Al-An'am. And your role is to be a da'i to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, and to sacrifice for the da'wah to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. We knew what are the consequences for being a da'i to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Ibrahim was thrown into the fire. And this is what the youth are expected to do. The Shaykh was reciting, يعني may Allah bless him, from Surah Al-A'raf, the story of Musa alayhi salam, and in another location in the Quran, وما آمن معه إلا ذرية من قوم على خوف من فرعون وملئه. Those who are supporters to the prophets of Allah Azza Jal were the youth. Those who gave the support to the da'wah of the Prophet ﷺ were the youth. You are the asset. Usama ibn Zayd was 16 years old when he led the army in the most critical stage in the history of Islam. Behind Musab ibn Zayd was Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhuma. This is how critical your job is, because you have the energy, you have the creativity, utilize it in serving the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. And once again, in conclusion, I would say we cannot have Rabbani generation if we do not have Rabbani family. And that's the focus of the whole, inshallah, series of the reminders throughout the month of Ramadan, is how we can have a Rabbani family that produces a Rabbani generation, can bring back again the glory of Islam to not to the Muslim Ummah, but to the whole world. Right now, the world is suffering. The earth is in so much chaos. We need a Rabbani generation to bring back the stability to the world and to help people to live in peace and tranquility. May Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty bless our youth for us. And may Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty help us to be good role models for them and help us to raise them as true leaders and da'i to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. I speak from experience. Most of the youth whom we had in this masjid now are in positions that you would make you feel, that alhamdulillah, it's working. Some are neurosurgeon doctors, others are lawyers, others, are serving in different, civil positions in Canada. Alhamdulillah, it's working. Be proud of yourself if you're a teen, but at the same time, be focused on your deen. May Allah Azza wa Jal give you the barakah in your life. Allahumma ameen. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Muhammadun alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll talk about وَلَمَّا سَكَتَ عَنْ مُوسَى الْغَضَبِ. We need to talk about anger as a syndrome that destroys the life of the family and destroy, the growth of the people in their life.